Look, if you've ever felt like you're literally just setting your marketing budget on fire to reach a completely generic audience of, I don't know, males who like breathing, trust me, you are not alone. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to completely, permanently shift your mindset away from that superficial demographic targeting. Instead, we're going to equip you with a really practical framework for generating actual, real-world conversions. We're going way past surface-level data to figure out what actually drives human behavior and purchasing decisions. So ask yourself, are you actually targeting an audience, or are you just playing a really expensive guessing game? Because if your digital strategy basically relies on checking boxes in an ad manager, clicking women aged 30 to 45 in urban Canada, you're kind of just crossing your fingers. You're hoping that everyone who happens to share a birth year and a zip code magically shares the exact same buying motivations. And as any marketer who has watched their return on ad spend completely tank knows, yeah, that is almost never true. Honestly, it all boils down to this. Vague audiences create vague content, and vague content destroys conversion rates. Period. True market targeting, it's a form of elite strategic intelligence. It is absolutely not some administrative checklist or a bunch of basic drop-down filters you just click through on an ad platform. No, it requires digging deep into the minds of your consumers to uncover the real transformation your product offers. So, to upgrade your targeting from basic filters into a genuine strategic asset, we're going to walk through a simple 3-part framework: the transformation, psychographic profiles, and behavioral triggers. Let's get right into it. Part 1, the transformation. This is the what and the why. Look, before you can find your audience, you absolutely have to clarify the exact deep-seated problem you're solving. You really have to recognize that you are selling a core transformation, right? Not just surface traits or bullet points on a feature list. Like, think about a massive e-commerce cornerstone like Shopify. On paper, their surface offer is just digital shopping carts, right? E-commerce software, some cloud hosting. But that's not what triggers a merchant to actually pull out their credit card. Their strategic transformation is entrepreneurial independence. It's infinite scaling capabilities and literally the total reduction of technical stress. They aren't selling the digital cart, they are selling the freedom that the cart gives you. And because Shopify fundamentally understands this profound transformation, they built their core brand values entirely around 3 things: simplicity, autonomy, and merchant empowerment. By aiming all their marketing directly at those foundational values, instead of just some generic, unhelpful bucket like small business owners, they flawlessly dictate every single piece of ad copy, every visual asset, and every user interface they build. Okay, moving on to part 2, psychographic profiles. This is the who. Let's turn this into actionable execution by moving entirely away from those basic demographics. $80,000. Now, that number really highlights the ultimate limitation of demographic targeting. Sure, you might know your target is a retail business owner in Toronto or Vancouver pulling in over 80 grand a year. But honestly, that paper stat tells you absolutely nothing. It doesn't tell you about their daily anxieties, their dreams, or, the specific technical headaches that are literally keeping them up at night. But when we swap out those flat paper stats for deep psychographics, well, the whole game changes. Instead of vaguely targeting Toronto retailers, we look at their core desire, which is regaining direct-to-consumer data control from third-party marketplaces. We look at their hidden fear, missing out on global expansion just because of regional technical friction. And we look at their core value, having seamless autonomy over their digital brand identity. By speaking directly to those deeper drivers, your marketing instantly transforms from this annoying disruption into a highly relevant, immediate solution. So how do you find this level of intelligence? You've kind of got to go into full detective mode. Step 1, manually browse community hubs. I'm talking Reddit, Quora, specialized tech forums. Step 2, mine those spaces for repetitive pain points. Pay close attention and record the exact vocabulary your potential users type out when they're ranting or frustrated. And step 3, scale that research. Use targeted AI prompts with tools like Google Gemini. Basically ask the AI what core anxieties, motivations, and hidden values are driving my ideal user to actually take action. Which brings us to part 3, behavioral triggers. The where and when. Because look, knowing exactly who your audience is, it's totally useless if you don't know where they spend their time and, crucially, when they are psychologically primed to pull out their credit card. Just think about the buyer's actual timeline for a second. In month 1, say, a Montreal brick-and-mortar boutique owner is just doing routine business stuff. They aren't ready to buy a thing. But then, month 18 hits. a trigger event happens. They suddenly realize their physical store footprint is totally capping their sales growth. Or maybe a social media creator gets a sudden massive traffic spike and has no way to monetize it. That trigger event leads perfectly into month 19, which is your marketing action. Boom! You deliver a contextual ad highlighting global scaling infrastructure right at the exact moment they desperately need it. But here's the catch. To deliver that contextual ad at the exact right time, you've got to know where they hang out. You really need to dig into platform analytics and competitor behavior to intercept them. Are they analyzing deep business strategies over on LinkedIn? Are they scrolling through visual aesthetic examples on Instagram? Or are they actively troubleshooting code on GitHub? You absolutely have to align your marketing to intercept them in the exact behavioral moments that match up with your solution. And when you finally pull all of this together, honestly, something magical happens. You stop shouting into the void. Treating audience targeting as a true pillar of elite strategic intelligence means you naturally adopt your audience's exact emotional language. You start using the exact same terms, the same values, and the same metaphors they use every single day. Suddenly, your marketing stops feeling like this generic sales pitch, and it starts feeling like a mirror, perfectly reflecting their own thoughts right back at them. So the next time you're constructing a campaign, I want you to pause before you even open your ad manager. Run it through the coffee shop test. Ask yourself, if my ideal customer overheard this exact marketing message at the table next to them in a coffee shop, would they lean in closer to hear more, or would they completely tune it out? It's such a simple question, but it completely forces you to filter out all those arbitrary, boring features and replace them with messaging that is rooted in real, captivating human behavior. To actually execute this strategy out in the real world, you need structure. Build essential, living segmentation document mapping out your audience's values, their geography, and their technographics. And I mean living. Keep updating it relentlessly as you learn more. By abandoning surface-level demographics for deep psychographics, you fundamentally change how your brand exists in the world. So, I'm going to leave you with one final question to answer for your own business today. What is the true underlying anxiety that your product actually cures? Think deeply about that, and I'll see you in the next explainer.